Today, I want to talk a little bit about providing some practical tips for working with legislative staff in the California State Capitol. In the last few months, of things have really geared up for the 2023 legislative session. Um, I've been given some practical tips that have been shared with me for those working with staff in the California State Capitol. Now, some of these recommendations may seem obvious to you, but many of them still bear repeating. I started my career as a volunteer intern, and so I appreciate the suggestions I've received from chiefs of staff and legislative directors and schedulers and legislative aides and committee consultants and others. So these are some of the practical suggestions that have been shared with me from California legislative staff. Don't alienate the member schedulers. They're very important staff and should have your utmost respect. Keep staff in the loop about conversations that you have with their member. It's respectful, and it also allow the staff to hopefully bolster your conversation with the member. No matter your relationship with a member, don't just pass by the front office staff. And don't forget to share your advocacy letters and support materials with the relevant Assembly Republican caucus consultant as well as the Senate Republican caucus consultant. Generally, it's a good idea to limit small talk with members. In other words, get straight to the point. Now, if you or your client are sponsoring a bill, never take a meeting on the bill without first asking the author staff if they'd like to join. It's their bill, not yours. And don't send the author's office amendments without offering to explain to the author's staff what the amendments do. Again, it's their bill, not yours. Always identify the client you're engaging on behalf of. Now, some staff don't mind drop-ins at their offices, while others do not, or while others do. And do your best to respect staff time and make every attempt to try and schedule an appointment so that the staffer you want to talk to can make sure that they can give you their undivided attention. Also, drop-ins to do a quick check-in are much different than drop-ins intending to have a deep discussion on a bill. The latter should require a meeting request. Floor alerts really are unnecessary. Everyone seems to do them because they want their bill to stand out, but because everyone does them, no bills stand out. They're just clutter. Put your letter into the portal. Staff do review them. Now, after your letter is in that portal, you don't need more communications unless there are updates because the bill language changed or you have a change in position. The email deluge is real for legislative staff. In addition to emails related to their job functions, staff inboxes are often full, and they appreciate email etiquette. Your email should provide a clear subject line, put emphasis on the important points, and make the ask clear. Put all the relevant info in the body of the email, and don't include attachments unless they're imperative. Because of the limited space in the swing space offices, be clear about how many people are coming to your meeting and update the staff if there are any necessary changes. They need to know beforehand if they have to find space or request a conference room at the swing space. Sometimes you'll need to be willing to be flexible on meetings and take them via Zoom or phone if you can. It's so much easier to take large group meetings on Zoom because of the physical space issue. Also, as a general rule, always start the meeting off with what your ask is so staff don't have to figure it out while you're talking. Put all the cards on the table and have honest discussions. By the way, bills that have support from both caucuses, as well as bills that have previous unanimous vote counts or on the consent calendar, don't need meetings. They don't need floor alerts. They don't need check-in meetings with the staff or any vote counts. They're fine. Every legislator has a public inbox and use that for any mass email campaigns. Have Having mass emails being sent to staff will not be appreciated. Know the background and voting history of the member you're meeting with. If you happen to have a staffer's phone number, don't abuse the privilege. If you're going to oppose a bill, reach out to the author's office before the committee hearing when there's enough time to try and work out your issue. Remember that staff talk to each other, and so they're going to find out what you're doing or what you said to another staffer when you're meeting with them. Don't approach members without trying their staff first. When there's a coalition effort on an important bill, don't send each coalition member to separately lobby the member or staff. Rather, try to consolidate those meetings. Don't send chiefs of staff scheduling items. Those should be directed to the member scheduler. Don't work on amendments or negotiate a bill even when you're the sponsor without involving the member staff or at least coordinating the efforts with them. And treat everyone in the legislative process with respect. Above all else, be honest. And one that's very important to me, respect the institution and respect the legislative process at all times.